the professionals and,
Yep.
and the selectmen. I
Yeah,
mean, it's-
absolutely. Not gonna decide that in 2 days.
No, well,
No. And we did talk about how can you get call firefighters to show up at night? We talked about that last year, and we agreed, yeah, put some money in the salary reserve, see if you can negotiate it.
right, but it's called ambulance people, not firefighters.
No,
They're the same.
no.
They're the
It's
same, but they're
They're the
being called for ambulance service more than firefighters.
There is-
That's the overwhelming,
is-
that's
yes.
your pressure.
There
is
are-
the- is the ambulance.
There are
call.
more medical calls, yeah.
It's,
Yeah,
I
that's
wouldn't call it
pressure.
ambulance, I'd call it medical,
Yeah, they're
because
Medical, okay.
somebody has fallen
Yeah,
home.
25% of them don't get transported.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
It's not ambulance,
Right.
it's medical response. My
Yeah.
husband crashed his bike in North Andover, let him go
How
home.
does the, when
Our
you
guys
just,
came.
okay, so if you look at the stuff that's not contractual commitments in the top, if it's cutting ahead, how does that process of hiring ahead, how does that happen? Who decides that?
Who-
Like if you wanna hire a full-time person up top,
Mhm.
how does that happen?
Like an additional person?
No,
or
no,
one-
the recent two that you have, the-
Well, we advertised,
right?
and then we,
No, I'm talking the approval process, isn't it through the selectmen? Or is it,
well, I am the strong chief, but I
Yep.
don't do anything alone, so,
yeah, no, that's my point.
well, Kelly's the human resource director.
That's my point, so my
The
point is.
slot was already there, it was a question of filling it.
Oh, I get that. So my point is, if you wanna have the budget tied to last year's numbers, you would have to then presumably fire somebody we just brought on. I'm trying to understand what the actual cut is to
Yeah.
get the number to tie.
Right, right.
That's all I'm trying to
I
understand.
mean, it's a deeper philosophy, but can we have a public safety department where the police officers are, have EMS capabilities?
No,
Yeah, just because, I mean,
You know-
they're out there, you've got people out there full time.
but
Yeah, I mean, that's not for discussion here, I'm sorry,
No,
I'm so
but,
frustrated.
no, I am too, though, I am too, Mike, we should go talk together sometime, but,
Okay,
no, because I was in, I was talking to, where is he, Don Craig. He came in and talked to me one day, trying to understand what's happening. Get a medical aid call, our people go off on the medical aid call. Second medical aid call comes in, our people are, some people are on that first one, other people are on the other one. Two officers, one officer says, I'm not available, I'm in a meeting, the other officer's off with a car stop. They're doing police work.
Mhm.
So we have a young lady whose dad runs over her foot by accident, it's by accident.
yeah.
And he felt really bad about that. So the police officer, when I talk to them, Mike, though, because I've heard that, people say that, why don't police just do the medical? First of all, they're first responders, so they're
Right,
not
but they
EMTs.
show up with oxygen.
No, they don't carry oxygen, they don't
Oh,
even
they
have
don't?
oxygen, no, they have defibrillators and they have bandages and tourniquets and things like that,
Okay.
but, so what do they do for the poor girl that's dad ran, we can give her medicine and, alleviate her pain. And so, it is a bigger discussion about, how is it done, how is medical services
Yeah.
done, fire services done in a timely manner with the right people and all that. But the police need to do the police work and they need to keep us safe. They need to be watching out for our safety on the road, in the homes where there's weapons and there's other things going on. It's just not a nice, quiet world that we live in. It's dangerous for all of us, and their job is to protect us.
And in some cases, they get there first to put the tourniquet on,
Sometimes they do, yep,
but
Sure. No,
That's as
so-
far as they
no,
can
so
take.
change departments pulled numerous people out of my house over the years, but the police are always there too. So, I mean,
it
just-
depends
just-
on what else is going on.
yeah.
But that's not their primary responsibility.
Not at all, and I don't think that they would even want to talk about that. But I understand what you're saying, I totally get it.
But basically, the only way to drop dollars is to change the staffing profile. And that comes down to open hours, if you will, where
Well, you're
you know
exposed.
you have two full-time
You're
people in the
exposed.
station.
You are Lyme, New Hampshire now.
I don't know.
Well, no, what they just have they just go, they're open at night, everybody goes home, goes to sleep.
Yeah, which is what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And 6 AM to 6 PM, you need real people who that's their job and they're paid to be there because none of us work in town,
Right.
or almost none of us. least on a.
It's just a change in,
basis.
it's a change in the world, it's a different world, and that's, we struggle to evolve to that.
Well, there was a motion on the floor,
There was a second.
and there was a second.
There was a lot of discussion.
We've had discussion, so do we wanna change the motion, do we wanna vote it, do we wanna withdraw it and think some more? We only have Monday, so, and there are other things we gotta get through. Plus, and the medical.
I would withdraw it and I would put in a new one for just the one, just do it piece by piece. That's my recommendation.
In both
The
the,
the 2,500 and the 1,900 separately. Okay. I'll withdraw my motion.
Okay.
I'll enter a new motion to approve the base budget FY19 Finance Committee column as presented.
is there a second to that?
Second.
Okay. Do we have more discussion? You beat the horse?
I mean, that's the best we can do. We don't know that percentage though, right? It's still 2.5%.
For the wages part?
No, for the whole,
Sorry.
for the whole,
Yes, well, whatever, Karen.
2.77.
it's 2.77 if we take those numbers out, that's just the
If we
base
take
budget.
the 54,750 out,
That's right.
but you're including the 5470 in your motion.
Yeah,
That's right.
So, yeah,
Because that was voted on last
yeah,
year.
it is, yeah, I mean, without going to.
I mean, I can tell you what the compounded one is.
Okay, what's the compound?
For fiscal 17,
I don't have, one thing about these phones is they're not as good as the old TI calculators.
I almost brought mine.
oh, you gotta
The
go
power
with HP.
button.
You gotta
Yeah.
go with HP.
I do not like reverse publish.
RPN, so where's that?
Oh,
Yeah, well,
RPM
C can go both
we-
ways, you can switch it up.
Yes, you're a geek.
I'm a 12 enter 5 times type of guy.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, it was so much better.
We just have a
It's-
note that when we were calculating the budget, that the total budget is 9.26, or 71,000, increase over FY18. If two outstanding other items are approved, the increase is 9.91. Again, this includes the 54,750 for the night coverage. Isolating the cost of the 54,750 for that program, the total fire department budget represents a 2.77% increase over FY18.
And if you just took the bottom line FY17 and the bottom line FY19, keep the 54,750 in, that compounds, it's 1.7%. I'm sorry, 7.7.
Okay, well, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, so, okay, so,
but if you take off the 54,1A.
so in a sense of what we, I mean, we talk about the stuff that you didn't do in isolation, it was 2.77%. But you add the stuff, so we are purchasing more fire with that,
Yeah,
Right.
We're purchasing more.
we're purchasing overnight coverage,
right?
which was the discussion we had last year.
Not last year, right, but
With the
okay.
interim chief, saying,
No,
what
right,
people aren't
so
showing.
we did, so, but we didn't say it was gonna drive, did we say 9%? I don't remember the 9%.
No, we talked about a dollar amount.
Right, yeah.
Estimated based on what
Yeah.
people would reasonably expect to.
We did a survey of
as
the
a
area
stipend.
too, to see what other towns did around us.
Okay,
Well, yeah,
okay.
I mean, yeah, no, it's. Okay, so there's the motion, there's the second. More discussion? So, okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Mike? Abstained? None. There we go. Okay, do we want, let's wait on the two extras unless Jen's desperate or you have questions about it, because we said water could go at 8. We don't need to keep Greg out.
It's a second
Poor
unit phone
Greg.
to
Fill
find
out.
you.
What's that?
It's a second unit phone to find
Yeah,
you.
no.
Next year I want to come before you.
That's okay, Phil, you earned it, that's for sure.
We made the police chief go first.
That's okay, he has further to drive,
Yeah.
that's fine. What, is there anything more that I can help you with, well, the ambulance billing is what it is, we agreed to pay Northeast Regional Ambulance 3% of what we billed out, so,
Question is, does it go in your budget or does it go back to the selectmen's budget?
okay.
That's the decision, right? Or can it go back to the
No, it
selectmen?
should be with the fire department, it only got absorbed into my budget because I had no choice.
It was a new item in FY
It was
eighteen.
brand new and we had to contract for the service.
So to me, that's a no-brainer.
Where possibly you wanna keep the cost centers where they belong.
Especially where
It's
the offset is the
contractual, we're gonna
ambulance.
say no and not pay Northeast ambulance, or?
We don't, right,
It's 3% of what we build out, or 3% of what we collect?
what we collect.
What we collect.
Yeah.
So this is the number for what we
It is what it is.
That's for
did
last,
last year.
yeah, right, so-
And next year's number will be different.
Correct. It's
Might be
based
more,
on
might be
volume.
less.
right, that's right,
But if it's more, that means there was more revenue into the general
that's
fund.
right, that is correct.
I could make a motion to approve that number to extra 2,500 for ambulance billing, if people wanna do that now.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Fine?
No, not opposed,
Oh,
given
that was an aye?
given that, I did, given, yeah, it's an aye on that one.
Okay.
Given,
I wanted to
I
make
mean,
sure,
I would
'cause I
like to,
saw it
no,
here, but I
because
heard
I
it-
think there
heard
should
it
be a
aye.
revolving fund on the ambulance fund, so we can,
Yeah.
you know, start getting some rational,
Well, so that you see it.
yeah,
together.
Right, no,
right,
it-
Although,
right, you know,
I think-
whatever
I
cost
think my
allocation.
frustration with the fire stuff is that we need to have a long-term solution that's beyond this discussion. Every year we get railroaded with this discussion,
Mhm.
and then everybody's like, there's all the various points of view, and the broader discussion needs to happen with,
Right.
I don't know who that is, but it's
I'm
not
here,
us.
I'm here to, no,
I know, and we talked
no,
about that
I-
before.
No, I get it, and I feel like, we have been, we have to move forward.
It's baby steps, you gotta get the selectmen on board
Yep.
with you, and then you gotta
Right.
get the other towns on
Yep.
board with you, and then you gotta figure out,
Yep.
is that just a pipe dream or
Coordination.
realistic?
Yep,
And then if you
There's-
look at all the big equipment, to Mike's point, it's a lot of big equipment.
Yeah.
But it's also big real estate, and that's not our expertise, is to
Right.
understand
Yep.
what's the placement of what that's way too sparse or way too much.
Right. What's the optimal location, the
All that.
service?
yeah, that's not us.
That's not us, and that's why I get so frustrated, because
right,
we all want the safety there.
right,
But we see these numbers that keep going up in so much of our budget, and you look at the delta we're trying to solve.
yep.
We just put it on spot every year.
I have to call 911 for medical help when someone shows up.
See,
Reasonably
but
quickly.
see, I find those arguments, Eric, I just find them like, someone will show up eventually, it's just a matter of how much time will it take for someone to show up? Is it 5 minutes
If
or
you-
10
That's a
minutes?
big-
But if you read everything about that, it's this time to that,
It
it's
is
the
right.
degree.
Depending on
That's
what
a
was
difference, a
wrong.
life or death.
So it depends on what's, so Eric, it depends on what's wrong, okay? If you're having a ischemic stroke, it's a big deal. How many ischemic strokes are we dealing with in a year? You know, if you fell down and can't get up, it sucks, but it's not terrible. You change your underwear.
Depending on if you did
Right.
something to your neck. in
Right,
which
right,
case- yeah.
but the number of catastrophic, so this is where the data is, where do we have these catastrophic things
Or
where?
it's the overdoses, it's the
Right.
anaphylactic shocks,
And
it's
it's
the heart
30%
attacks.
of their population is elderly
Right.
and things happen at night.
Right, so I just I can speculate all the time.
And how do you put a dollar value?
But we don't
on it?
have to Mike's point,
Yeah.
we're not sitting there looking at the
They-
data to
they know
say,
that.
oh, here's,
Yeah,
and that's why some of those questions we asked last time.
Yep,
yeah.
yep, and we can, we have all that data, we can bring in, you know, there's,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah,
just
but we're
wanna
not, I don't think FinCom's
Yeah, yeah, no,
policy
I-
center on
No.
our
The policy
Right.
belongs with
emergency
the
and fire
Board of
rescue
Selectmen.
approach, that's
Right.
not us.
Right,
But
but when you say, well, it could be this, that's true, but, I mean, I was listening to one thing where someone said, well, what if this happened? I was like, that might happen, but it's not gonna happen, you know?
Well, you can't necessarily, when it's a rare event, you can't argue that it didn't happen.
So I know, I agree, so we have like 10 years of data, sort of, yeah,
Yeah, but, yeah.
yeah.
If I flip
more,
the coin
more
and got-
stuff's happening more frequently.
it's much more
And
complex.
I've, and I've heard a lot of the stories There's a lot of Narcan
Yeah,
that's being used.
Oh, yeah.
so I didn't get
Time,
to.
I think, matters on that, is my guess.
All right, did we want to vote the medical supplies now,
Some of
or
the
do we
journal
want
studies.
Oh,
to,
good.
do we wanna vote the medical supplies, or do we wanna let the water do their thing?
Let's
and
let
then-
water do their thing, and then we can vote that on Monday when Shay and Ding are back.
Yeah, okay. And I don't think we have questions exactly about the medical supplies.
No, but it'd be
We
nice
need
to
the
get
chief
their
back for it.
opinions on it.
Yeah. Yeah, the ambulance is contractual, so.
Yep.
The billing. All right,
Thanks,
thank
Ben.
you,
Thank you,
Chief.
sorry. Thank you. It's all warmed up for you. I got it.
Guys, that's your candy. I'm gonna send you the
Yeah.
only one to go.
Yeah.
Be right back.
It's really vodka.
This is,
John,
or
it's really vodka.
AMC?
You guys are making me out to be a slob here.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Hope you like servers.
It's almost great.
Except those little wrappers.
I
I
know.
looked in them around my house.
My kids, I know,
Never
my
buy
kids
them.
drop them everywhere.
Copies of the video available when it's all done?
Goes up on YouTube.
Chocolate for you.
Oh, I don't want YouTube, I want a copy, I can
Eating
put it
medical
in the
liquids
machine.
right now. Jen, did you need
If you get me a flash drive, I'll put it on for you.
Okay,
Here's some stuff.
yes, yes. One of them,
Does he have two people?
yeah.
I think you saw him the other day.
He also has a half Chihuahua and a half Jack Gibbon or something. Because his daughter is, his stepdaughter is breast cancer.
The stepdaughter was?
21 years old, she is,
Holy moly.
she's in chemo now and she's gonna have a double mastectomy.
What's her name? She was on our basketball team. Yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
And I gotta tell you, one of the beagles got run over with
Oh, I did.
GPS truck, he got operated on. My own opinion was, the dog that got gone, I would've shot it maybe. I mean,
It means you're running the ambulance service.
Tell us how you really feel. Don't hold back.
you know I don't hold back.
Remind me not to get hit by a car, do you?
I truly wanna be before the fire chief next year.
Okay. You know you said that on tape.
I don't care. Did we check with the Secretary of State's office, is a private citizen allowed to tape a meeting?
Yep.
Oh, okay, good.
Yep.
Wanna make sure you leave.
Oh, yes.
Okay,
Got a YouTube channel too, you can watch it later.
Too old.
Oh, jeez. Kidneys are for me.
so that's
What happens when you leave?
Yeah.
gentlemen, the water budget. We've not voted the water budget, correct?
Correct. We had a discussion on Monday about the reserve and the unanticipated emergency fund. See if I can find my water budget.
Yeah.
And so we basically had questions about the ramping up of the funds for the water treatment plant being shortened, the period of, the ramp up period has been shortened by a year because we're gonna go out to bond a year early, and that's increasing the ramp up. And I think that's it. I think it'd be better to let Greg.
Greg can
There.
decide. I'm just gonna protect him.
Sure, in 2014, the town approved the engineering funding for the treatment plant. So beginning in fiscal year 2016, we started ramping up the rates kind of in anticipation of how much we would have to pay for the permanent, long-term bonding of the plant project as well as the Washington Street work that was done around the same time. So the way that's done is we've kind of projected out when we thought it would go out to permanent bonds, what our operating budget would be, what the debt cost would be, what the indirect costs would be, and then adjusted the unanticipated emergency fund and the reserve fund so that the total bottom line of the budget would kind of linearly go up to meet the debt burden that we anticipated would happen. And those two, the reserve fund and the unanticipated emergency fund, was really the only two line items that we had any control over to make those adjustments. And over the years, Additional capital projects have been added, like the River Road project. The treatment plant, after it had gone out to bid, became more expensive. And last year at this time, we weren't planning to build the treatment plant or even ask them for money until this coming town meeting. So our budget and the ramp up was adjusted accordingly. Since the plant is essentially happening a year earlier than we anticipated when we made the budget last year, that kind of shortens up the amount of years we have to complete the ramp. So we're making the next 2 years, the rate increases will be a bit sharper than we were anticipating at this time last year. And then after that is done, we anticipate the rates leveling out for a number of years at less than 0.5% increase per year.
Tony, I didn't realize you had come in, but we are refilled.
That's right.
And as far as the budget cycle goes this year, the water board met in December to discuss the budget, and I think the base operating budget, the wages, salaries, and other were pretty well defined. The debt, there's some questions about that. One of the issues we had, I thought, was the projected rate increases I thought were too high, so I suggested a few adjustments we could make, such as putting some of our retained earnings towards the River Road project and changing how we borrow the money for the plant to try and reduce the rate increases over the next couple of years. So I believe I submitted a budget on January 4th, which had the salary, wages, and other pretty much the same way in the budget that you see now. I left the unanticipated emergency and the reserve fund blank because the debt numbers were kind of in flux at that time. I didn't have enough information to calculate out what those numbers, those values should be to make the ramp the right size. And subsequent, last budget, those are the final numbers.
Okay. So the right budget to vote is the one from March 14th.
Correct.
So what was the 88,000 drawn out in the enterprise reserve fund?
That is just an adjustment for the ramp. Basically, one of the things I did is I took some money out of the reserve fund and switched it over to the unanticipated emergency because of some of the unknown, essentially labor costs that we're gonna have when this plant goes online. It's gonna be essentially under probation for a period of time. Someone's gonna have to be there whenever it runs. And it's easier for the water department to access less restrictions if it's an unanticipated emergency.
Gotcha.
Other than the weather, the structure of the plan is going smoothly? No budget increases that are too severe? I assume?
There's some adjustments, but I think that in total, we're actually due a credit, so it'll be a little bit less expensive.
The thing to know is, because you'll understand it better, in every contract there's a contingency fund. We haven't gone to it and we won't.
I think
I
Phil
did
said,
that when we did the garage, and I told the architect and the builder, you aren't getting enough time on it.
No
And I
change
told
order.
these guys the money tree died.
Yeah. That's good. I like projects that don't have change orders.
No.
Well, when I'm selling them, I like
Oh, yeah, but if I'm paying for it, no. Proper prior planning.
so there's still, even in this budget, there's still some assumptions. It assumes that every dime, including all the reserve fund or the contingency fund, is spent. And assumes that all $1.6 million for the River Road project is spent. I don't anticipate spending the contingency fund. The River Road project is out to bid right now, so we'll have open bids in a couple of weeks. We'll actually have construction numbers for that. I think it's a fairly conservative estimate of what, I think it should be lower, I think, in the end, as far as what the ultimate rate increases are and the actual debt costs are, but right now it's kind of a worst case scenario.
I think you should know that the treatment plant, number one, all the pipes in the ground, all have them miles of it, it's all there. It's just waiting to be hooked to the plant, which is, I think, pretty good. They've done this fall, one of the reasons I pushed for the special town meeting. The station itself, the facility itself, has got a first floor, and they're now putting walls on. There's still a long way to go, but we're still quite a bit ahead. I would say if we hadn't started when we started, and with the winter we've had, and the fact that you gotta play around with it, DEP for some time before they say, okay, you're okay, we wouldn't have turned this on until 2019. We will, I'm sorry, 2020. We will get it on, not in the fall of 2018 like I'd hoped, but I would say early in 2019 we will return on. And maybe we'll finally get rid of magnets.
We're ready for a motion?
Yeah, unless people have more questions.
I just have a quick question. On the debt service, what's the rate of interest you're paying on
For the short term,
that?
is it like 3%?
Is at 3.5% per the advice of the financial advisor. There's also two scenarios that we came up with depending on when it goes from a ban to a bond. The lower one was 332, the higher one was 377. Yeah, it's budgeted here at 377.
Thank you.
As I think we discussed last week, or last meeting, you don't want to undershoot the interest rate and have a nasty budgeting surprise.
Right.
And the water benefits from the town's bonding. They don't have a separate town rate.
No, it's all together.
So I move to vote that the March 14th, 2018 version of the Water Enterprise Fund budget be approved. Article 4, annual town meeting warrant. Propose that.
I'll second that. Second.
Okay. More discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Okay. All right, thank you.
See how quick we can be.
Yeah, if I had known, I would have touched that first.
Sorry, I had to follow Ronnie last.
So you don't stress about the town meeting last year, we spoke about the water plant for like 45 minutes.
We aren't gonna talk about it.
No, and then it passed unanimously.
Yeah.
We tried to be pretty,
Yeah, or whatever, half hour or something.
pretty open about that whole thing, just so everybody know what there is going on. There's no question about that. And it's a big undertaking. It's, you know, we're gonna be happy with it when it's done. This guy's be important to the town.
I'll be happy when I can stop having bottled water delivered to my house.
I'm sure. You don't really have to do that. I've been in town 45 years, I've never had bottled water in the house, I drink it all the time.
Yeah.
See what? That's why I am like I am.
Good genetics. Good genetics.
I think it's okay for older kids, just for young kids.
Exactly.
Or unless you have some kind of.
Right, unless you're waiting for health
or
reasons.
something.
I
Okay.
don't want to be the experiment.
Take care of that. Going back to my checklist to see where we've gotten.
There's the debt budget,
Yeah, we've got to, I'm just checking off here. We're waiting on Masco before we have Dana. The water is now done.
Is Masco coming in on Monday?
Yeah, we were supposed to.
The meeting tonight, I think, so.
Oh, crap. It's
What?
Thursday already. I didn't post Monday night's meeting.
I can play tennis.
40 years, right?
48 business hours. I forgot it was Thursday already. These out-of-cycle meetings are killing me.
We still have time if we could post it tonight? Oh, no, it's not 8 hours, it's about 7 o'clock.
We could do a 9 o'clock
We
meeting.
can do it, yeah,
It's gonna be late as it is.
I think it matters when Beth can post it.
Let's call her up.
At 8:30.
Can we get one posted somehow, Kelly, tonight?
You what?
Can we get one posted somehow tonight?
Cause Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Well, I don't know, do you wanna vote on the budget first?
I was joking.
Just kidding. I will see.
I'm
Tuesday.
sorry,
You know what,
I was
there.
being facetious.
Been on for 3 years and you haven't missed one.
no, I did miss posting at least one.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did, and we shifted to a Tuesday.
So if she posted that, it
And the
would
problem
have to
is,
be,
the
she has to get-
warrant goes to print on Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
The
Do
warrant's going
we have
to
a
print Tuesday.
deviations policy?
No.
No, this is not an emergency, because Karen forgot what day it was. That doesn't
let me
really
see,
cut
if
it.
she's available and can post, I don't know if she can post remotely.
Okay.
If she can post remotely, we might be okay for 9 o'clock.
8:35. So,
Thank you, Kelly. I knew when I posted this one, I should have just done Mondays too. I don't usually post that far ahead.
Well,
Can they delay the warrant print on one day?
When does it have to be filed? Do we meet Tuesday
Well,
at
the
5
warrant,
PM
the warrant goes to print Tuesday.
on Tuesday?
Yeah,
Yeah. so
we'll
they
have to ask Kelly.
They'd have to
So
delay the printing.
It goes to the jail to be printed, and what I do know is that that's where they print it.
Yeah, you gotta put in
It's
the work.
cheap.
Hey, you wanna save money?
That's true.
And it's, I think that it takes 10 days, and I think that it would be worth asking her.
Yeah.
You
do
want
we
to
have
do
a,
Tuesday?
do we have a problem on Tuesday?
I can be here Tuesday.
I can.
I can't do Tuesday.
Should be.
Don't you wanna be part of it? I mean, it's,
Yeah, but
Come to all these meetings and then,
not to get on the vote of the budget.
Yeah, I can be here Tuesday.
yeah, well, check with Dana and Shay. Ooh. Okay, department budget review and approval.
We can vote everything tonight.
We could, before hearing from Masconomet.
Gotta hear from Masco. Gotta hear from Masco.
let's,
Well, we've been presented with their assessment, so.
they've already certified it is what it is. We've decided we're with it or not.
Yeah.
It's binary, we in, we out. It's not a,
Dana's a liaison, I'd like to hear his view on that.
I wouldn't mind hearing about their funds that they use for, I don't know, we used to call them E and B,
Yeah.
with those
Mhm.
capital requests.
Yeah, well, in fact, with the capital article that they want, they are putting money towards it as well as assessing the towns.
Right, but I'm just, but they,
Yeah, but then what else is left, yeah?
what was the last certified balance in those funds?
Well, let's see if we can vote as much as we can vote on it, but we can't finish balancing and know the free cash amount unless we put recommendation pending in the warrant, which is annoying. And we won't have the right numbers for the FinCom letter, so. Let's do what we can now, and when Kelly comes back, maybe we can, see about delaying printing. Okay, so the police, we wanted to wait for Che. Fire is done. We'll need a new salary reserve number, Kathleen, but I don't know if you have yet.
So we're estimating it right now at 25,000, and I'm not really sure, I'm just kind of throwing that number out, to be honest with you. The highway department, and the cemetery and the water are all becoming, potentially all becoming one union. Obviously, the water cost would go to the water department, but there's only a few employees in that. There's potentially the town clerk position, two things in that were kind of discussed about being reserved, salary reserve, so that's partly in that. And then there's also the captain position for the police department. However, when I was looking at his budget tonight, I think that's already included in that budget. So it went from the 200,000 that was in the omnibus budget down to, it's at 25 right now. In the cemetery.
Probably should get your latest, so I can throw the links.
What's that?
I should probably get your latest on that, so throw the links in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Did I send you today? I did. Yeah.
Did you? Okay, might have been. I took a walk to that.
Who's the best town clerk ever?
Yay, bet.
So we're
She
supposed
has to come in, she's at home, she's gonna drive in, it takes her about 20 minutes, so she's gonna text me as soon as she gets in. I said, if the very least, she can at least prepare the agenda that you used tonight for Monday, and maybe we can always update it tomorrow morning as a revised agenda, but we could get it posted so that you guys can meet on Monday night.
Yeah, as long as it says both the budget.
Yeah, yeah, it's the same agenda.
But we
She's
have
gonna
to
text me
start
when
at
she
9
gets
o'clock.
there, you might,
Yeah.
just
Would be
however
safest.
long it takes her to get to town meeting,
That would be
I mean, to
safest.
town hall, town offices.
There's no point in,
Oh, you can always come to our board of selectmen meeting, those are always fun.
Go for now, take naps.
Can we all go to your board of selectmen meeting?
It's a public meeting, of course you can.
Can we deliberate?
Always welcome.
We can deliberate without our own notice?
It's not posted as a joint meeting.
Yeah,
I
I'm not
could
sure.
repost it as a joint meeting, but then that doesn't give you your separate floor to make all these big decisions.
Well, let's see what we can get through tonight, and if push comes to shove, the warrant really has to go to print Tuesday? If not Wednesday?
Oh, because you have a deadline.
We have to bring it to the prison, let them, they have to copy it.
Well, they get an extra 20 minutes in
With-
the yard if they ask.
We, if we had to push it to Wednesday morning, I think we could still make it work, if you needed to meet on Tuesday night.
Okay.
Maybe. So,
We'll make it work,
To do
make
Wednesday.
it work. If I have to go to the prison myself, we'll make it work, as long as I get to come home from the prison, that's all I am.
Okay. And Dick was just suggesting, well, what the heck, revise the selectmen's agenda to be joint with the finance committee.
Oh, right, we could
just
always
in
do that,
case.
we could always do that, but,
It's actually a good idea.
Just include as an
If-
agenda
If it's
item
legal.
to get together with the Board of Selectmen, whether you do it or not, at least
No.
there won't be any issue. You don't have to have a joint meeting, but you'll have authority as part of your agenda to join this in the selectmen meeting or vice versa. The selectmen join you, however we want to put it.
we can,
Just get it in one of the agenda items, well, both should be. in
well, we'll have her post a meeting, we can always pull it.
Yeah.
And then she's gonna text me when she gets there, so we can make a decision when she gets
Yep.
there.
That's fine. Okay, so back to what we were trying to do tonight before I had my bad thought. The police were waiting, Masco we were waiting, the elementary budget we can vote.
We did.
You already did.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh.
Voted,
Yep,
John
yep,
was
yep,
for
I didn't,
19,
I didn't
40.
scratch it off on my check sheet.
I don't think you did excess tech though.
No, we did not, but that's Dana also.
Okay.
So, police, we need to do the pension and the debt and the insurance with updates, right? Or did we catch the insurance?
You also need to vote selectmen budget over to, with the, change in the wage.
Yeah, yep, right. And is this, that in the stack here? Okay, there's the updated debt service.
Oh, go ahead, yeah, thanks, Chuck.
Ah, now the Reese's Pieces got me. Anybody
Very
else
cool.
wants to? Adds to your scrap paper. So this is just updated with the actual updated long-term debt, interest rates,
The
discussions on
debt
project
service,
schedules.
a temporary loan is what changed on it. Reviewing the, it was estimated with a 3.5% interest rate, came in at 3% interest rate.
Mhm.
And we were also planning on banning in March, and we extended it to May right now, based on where the projects are, when they feel they're gonna be picking up again and needing the money.
Because you can't ban too soon.
Right.
And you can't convert to long-term too soon.
Right,
Either.
right.
But the sooner the better, the way, you know, we're afraid interest rates will come.
And again, there's a couple of scenarios in here, one of them being 9-month ban, depending on, the projects seem to be moving right now. So there's one scenario of a $402,000 ban interest, and then the second scenario of it being a year ban, which is the 447 is what you see in the budget here.
Which, as we discussed, in water, you have to budget for the outside case.
I would give credit to them, that they re-looked at it pretty hard, dropped it down a little bit.
We went through everything.
Right,
We
no,
called
but
the
you dropped it
advisor
down from what it was before.
to ensure the interest rate to,
Yeah.
Okay, someone wanna make a motion? I think it's yours nominally, John, for the debt service line.
I'm gonna make a move to assume a positive action for the debt service line for the discharge from 320.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Okay, so that's debt. The pension line. Seems to be that there was an update, yes.
It's just based on that, the actual number from the assessment from the Essex Regional.
Uh-huh.
And there was just some confusion in terms of how I had, we had that number pretty early, and I had put that in here. But it was also on the above guideline sheet, so it was just a little confusing. So I just wanted to make sure we quoting the number that is 1,140,341.
Pension, Essex County Retirement.
So it's a $64,000 increase, but it's already showing up on the bus budget that you had received at that amount.
Okay.
But that was accurate on your January 3rd budget,
I think it was just,
or we were lucky.
I think it was just confusing, yeah.
I'm okay with that,
Well,
but that was the same number.
So the correct number
It's
for the
1,140,341.
So that's the same number that's in the model. 25.
Okay, wasn't in a previous model, but it is now.
Well, in the previous model, I double counted the 64,000.
Oh,
which
okay,
was-
that's why it's,
Which
okay.
was like one of those whoopses.
Yeah, it's a pension.
Yeah, I think you picked up on that, yeah, or no, Catherine picked up.
Someone make a motion on the pension, for $1,140,341.
Pension guy.
I think it's actually Che, but
Jay.
I don't think he will mind.
1,143,41, right?
140,003. Sorry, yes, 341.
Okay, I'll move. Motion to approve 1,140,341, the Essex County retirement.
Second.
For sure, I'll second it.
Okay, further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Okay. So this,
Do a lot of lists.
okay. And the insurance.
Unemployment insurance?
Well, the whole insurance budget. I'm not I think we had decided voting that. There is a March 10th version. The insurance should be right in that, I think.
So 422,277.
I know, I gotta get to that part of it. That's not, okay, there's two pieces. There's the insurance, the health insurance, life insurance, et cetera, and then there's the workman's comp,
Let's see.
property liability, yeah. I think we get held aside the insurance lines. When we voted before. So, we would make a motion for the unclassified insurance in the amount of $422,277.
I'll move to approve the unclassified insurance, 422,277, includes workers' comp, comp audit, property liability, property casualty, accidental police, surety bonds.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Yeah. Opposed? Abstained? And then there's the employee benefits section, which we already voted the Essex County
The
retirement.
big one.
But
Yeah.
once you vote in the health benefits, life insurance, Medicare, administrative fees, and inpatient hospital, the total of employee benefits, including the already voted Essex County retirement, is $3,444,425. And that was with the life insurance, I'm sorry, the health insurance being level.
We already voted the Essex County.
Yeah.
Are we anticipating any changes here to these figures on the insurance, or this is it?
That's all we have for information right now. They won't have the final figures until after we go to print. But if there's any savings in I know we had a substantial jump in our workers' comp due to utilization.
Which we just
But
voted.
we
Yep.
shared our projections with our rep, and she felt that those were in line. If anything, if anything, the actual premium should go down. But she can't give us a specific number right now, so we wanted to keep the assumption the same.
So I think at the 312 meeting, You voted on this list of the above guidelines, 13,634 for workers' comp and property liability of 20,592. We're already voted, then the only thing that's outstanding on this too is Medicare tax. Has an increase of 8,649. Which is, on this sheet, it hasn't been voted on,
So that's not included in the omnibus budget?
it's not included right now.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
It is in the line too.
And I noticed that you had added the 13,000 and the 20,000, so those
Yeah.
are voted.
Right.
So the omnibus is voted and the extras are voted, except for that 8,000,
Okay, but I put that in
the
the model too.
the 8,649. Oh, I didn't notice that one, I thought that was 400.
Yeah.
Well, I feel better if we were clear that we voted the employee benefits
Before I put
in
it
the base budget, March 10th, of $3,444,425, just to make sure. Because my notes had said that several weeks ago, when we voted the base, we didn't include the insurance because we were waiting for information, so. I would suggest we vote the base and then vote the Medicare tax, workers' comp, and property liability that are contractual but over the guideline 0%.
You already voted on the workers' comp overage.
Right, you're right, yep, so that's done.
And you just did the base at the 422,277.
Right, so the unclassified bucket is also,
No, we didn't vote the overage on the workers' comp.
should you have it last minute?
Well, I wasn't at the 312 meeting, but it was in the model, so I assumed it was.
I don't,
No, we didn't
I don't
vote.
think
We
it
didn't
was.
vote it, so we know that we
Oh, you
didn't
just
vote
put
it.
them out. So
I
those-
just put in the mouth, I put stuff that,
Okay.
you know, that
So
we're gonna
those
pay no
three
matter
things
what.
need to be voted then?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So, if we could have a motion to vote the employee benefits line, the amount of $3,444,425,
So moved.
the base.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? And now, in the over guidelines section, we've already.
Just Medicare's in that.
Yeah, we've already done the Essex County retirement in Eric's recent motion. So now we have the Medicare tax, a contractual increase of 4.7%, that's $8,649. Workers' comp is a 20% increase, according to Maya, $13,634. And property liability, a 10% projected increase, $20,592. Is there a motion for those three contractual but over guideline items?
Want to do one at a time or all three?
Whichever you like.
So I will move for positive action on the projected increase, 4.7% increase, in the amount of $8,649 for the Medicare tax.
Okay.
Second.
Eric, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Okay, the workers' comp, the 20% over, 13,634.
So that's what's recommended by our insurance rep, is there,
Yeah.
there's no wiggle room there?
No, and that is pretty much determined either by statute or by utilization in a combination of both.
And if it turns out to be less, well, that'll be turned back, so,
Correct.
next year.
Right. Yeah, that's a tough one. It's very strict the way that they come up with that calculation. And one of the years that fell off was a good year. And one of the years that we picked up, they go on a 3-year cycle. we picked up a bad year and lost a good year, so it impacted us that way.
Is there a motion?
I will move, positive action for the increase in workers' comp, line item for $13,634.
All in discussion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? And property liability, 10% increase projected, $20,592.
Same thing, Kelly, the recommendation for the property liability?
Yes, whatever was in there was approved by Brenda, by Maya. I haven't changed it because we don't have actual rates yet.
Or rates go up, or do we have more traffic?
Well, in this case, we'll be dropping off and then adding on when we get the new town hall. So there's a lot of moving parts. I just went by their call and hope
Sure.
that it's on the high end and we'll get some savings later.
So I will move for positive action for the property liability insurance increase in the amount of $20,592.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Okay, so that takes care of the insurance stuff. And this one, let's go ahead. The salary reserve, Kelly, I think you were out with Beth, but Catherine was estimating $25,000 needed to be left in the salary reserve.
FY19,
Yeah, after distributing out the police and the fire.
I believe that's inaccurate. Going off of her recommendation, which is very, you should be precise. That's an adequate number.
Would someone like to make a motion for the salary reserve to cover the remaining contract to be settled and possibly reclassification?
Move for positive action on 25K, sorry, reserve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Okay. So, please, let's go. Are we, looks like that's all we can do on the budget review and approval.
Well, there's a lot. We voted everything.
Well, so
No.
we've got some over guidelines things.
There's over guideline stuff, and then there's still some capital stuff, right?
Yeah, then there's warrant articles,
Seven,
yeah.
The selectman executive secretary is still left on the actual budget though. It's in the wages, so it doesn't show up on this. It wasn't voted at the time when,
Yeah, we voted it before.
Okay, so we need to revote the selectmen, salary and wage account. And do we have a right number?
the bottom line for salary and wages for the selectmen department would be, $253,879.
Salary and wages?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's combined now.
Okay. No, it's fine, it just seems lower than I have it.
Oh, you're right. The 56,000, I'm just wondering what form you guys had. Does yours form say the 56,000? It got voted at 56,680
Right,
for the executive
Okay.
secretary. It should be 63,212. Thank you.
okay.
For, yeah, and the March 10th version has that,
Right,
so
so I have
the-
a 65-32 swing, is what I have on mine.
so the selectmen salary and wages total is $260,411.
Yeah,
Which is not what we had already voted.
no, you voted
We voted the
250.
Yeah, we
January.
voted
Yeah.
65-32 minus, yeah.
Is there a motion to do the selectmen's salary and wages at $260,411?